Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in the music realm.
Sure. I grew up in a big family, and so I remember at a young age singing songs with my mom. She would sing songs to us that she sang when she was a kid, silly songs and kind of playful songs. So it was kind of always just part of our home life. And then I remember church as a little girl as well. My sisters and I got to sing in church. And then, as a young person sitting through an hour and a half long service, it could get a little boring, but I always loved the singing. The melodies would stick with me, and something about hearing a whole room full of people singing and it being a meaningful experience to them singing to God or about God, these lofty ideas and these beautiful melodies just sort of stuck with me. So I certainly enjoyed that. And then once I got to school age, like middle school, high school, my school had a good music program and I sang in choirs. But my high school year, my sophomore year of high school, I started taking private voice lessons, and that helped me gain a lot of skills. So I started feeling like I was really successful in that realm, and went on to study music in college. And then once I became a mom, I spent much more time at home, but started teaching privately, singing lessons privately, part time. And so I sort of always had my foot in the door. I had some um, experience with teaching. And then I started working for a private school in the area, teaching private lessons. And then they offered me a job as an elementary music teacher. And so I did that for 6 years. So I've always been either in education or in music in some way. Um, but COVID changed that. And I didn't continue on at the elementary school I was at. And I've been teaching privately since 2020.
Mm-hmm. What sorts of things do you do at your studio? Any particular classes or lessons that you teach your students?
Yeah, I teach private singing lessons. So that just means one on one. And that's kind of my area of expertise is more voice. But I also teach ukulele lessons as well. I picked that up maybe 8 or 9 years ago when I was teaching elementary music. So I teach private lessons as well. And then because of my experience teaching elementary music, I kind of fell in love with the creativity and fun and playfulness and collaboration of a classroom setting. So I've developed group classes, both singing and ukulele, for like lower elementary, upper elementary, middle school, high school, both for voice and for ukulele. So that's been a fun addition to kind of keep some of that classroom magic alive.
Mm-hmm. What sorts of approaches do you use to teach students the basics of singing and music and stuff and like learning to like master um like be a good singer because not everybody has a sort of you know singing experience, if you know what I mean, but
Yeah,
like because some people might be new to singing, others might be more experienced. So
absolutely. When I first started working at the elementary school, that wasn't my, oh, sorry, my computer's making a funny noise. Can you still hear me okay?
mhm.
Ignore that. When I first started working at the elementary school, my background wasn't in elementary music education. And so those first 3 summers, I took classes at Seattle Pacific University, and it was put on by the Organization of American Kodai Educators. And Kodai is the last name of Zoltan Kodai. Uh, and the those courses were just excellent preparation for teaching music education. One of the themes of Kodai inspired education is folk music. So I learned a ton of folk music, which is great for teaching young people. So think Ring Around the Rosies, like you sing while you play. And that's a very natural way for children to interact with music. And then they love it. It's a game and it's fun and it's active and there's singing and there's skills that they might be using while they play, and they're already engaged in the music. So when you go to teach musical concepts, it's already fun to them. So I've loved my Kodai training. Another theme with Kodály training is that it should be joyful. So that's always something I'm looking for, especially in like group classes. It should be joyful. It should be a positive experience for students. Um, and really that Kodály has inspired how I teach all of my lessons as well. So the same kinds of concepts I can use in adult lessons, and it keeps it more active. We do first before we start to understand. So we can sing something or play something maybe before we actually understand the music theory. So it's active and fun. As far as ukulele goes, I'm more of an intermediate ukulele player, but I try to use the same concepts, keep it playful, keep it joyful. Um, I, I have some curriculum that I work through so that my ukulele students learn how to read music from a music staff. Um, Hopefully that answers. Let me tell you, Kodai is a funny word, so I'll tell you how to spell it in case you in case you use that in your article. It's Kodaly, and there's a
Hmm.
little doohickey over the A, whatever that's called. So
Yeah.
if you were going to use that, I could send you the Organization of American Kodai Educators.
Hmm.
But it was that was an intense program. It was 21 graduate level credits over the course of 3 summers, and it was very cool training. I had taught private singing lessons prior to that, but this training really helped bring it to life.
Thanks for spelling that because I had no idea how to spell it.
Yeah,
Uh,
everyone says Kodali when they first, including me. I said, "What's Kodali?" And then someone told me it's called Kodai.
it's
It's
Kotai, yeah.
it's
Um,
someone's.
mhm. Anyway, if I could move on, what can students take away from, taking these music classes, music lessons?
Yeah. Um, I hope that, like, first and foremost, I hope that students who spend time with me walk away feeling very capable and valuable. They learn music concepts and skills, and they also perform in quarterly recitals. And then also, especially like the ukulele, well, all voice and ukulele students are learning musical concepts that are transferable to other instruments. So a student might take ukulele lessons in the second, third, fourth grade, and when they join band through their school in the fifth grade, they're already familiar with how to read rhythm and melody, and they have like a good grounding in playing other instruments as well.
Hmm. What impact does, teaching music have on the students, on the students and like, yeah, just talk about that. Um,
Yeah.
what have you heard from your students?
Yeah, I think students gain some confidence because they realize they can do something and they have a skill to offer the world. So I think confidence is a big one. I think expression is another thing. We sing and play music that's happy, but we also sing and play music that's sad or that tells stories. So hopefully they make a connection that they can express a variety of emotions and feelings through music. I think that it can create a human connection too in singing maybe another culture's music or a song that doesn't personally relate to them, helps them put their shoes in or their feet in someone else's shoes, I guess. Um, I think they can also overcome fears when it comes to performing. A lot of students decide to sing in front of people or play in front of people, and it takes some courage, and so they overcome some fears. But especially for my singers, um, something they take away is lifelong. If you, at a young age, at any age, if you feel like you can sing, that stays with you forever. You can sing your whole life long, whether it's lullabies to your children or happy birthday at a party. Like
Mm,
you have some confidence that you can sing, and I really do think everybody can. With some effort, I think everybody can. So
mhm. What sorts of testimonials have you heard from students, that have taken your classes? I don't know if you can speak to that or.
I something that is compelling to me is when students say that I'm encouraging. I probably hear that the most often, that I'm encouraging. I appreciate that. Um, I think a lot of them feel a little bit better about themselves after lessons. So I feel like I'm achieving my goal if I'm helping them do that. One student told me that there was a complex idea, but I was able to like break it down into steps so she could reach success. But one of my favorite compliments was from a sixth grade student of mine who was in a class that he didn't want to be in. So that can be a vulnerable thing to have to sing in front of your peers at that age. But he did great. And over the course of the class, like as we reached the end, he was singing, even soloing. I think he soloed in a concert. And he told me at the end of class that I made it as least embarrassing as possible. And I felt like that was quite a compliment coming from a sixth grade boy.
Mhm.
But I hope to be fun and caring and just help people realize that they really are capable and that they have something unique
Mhm.
that they can share with others.
Yeah. Like, finally, how can music create a welcoming and, inclusive environment for individuals?
Yeah, I'll go kind of abstract and then I'll go kind of specific. So my abstract is that idea of human experience again. The content of music is often expressive of human experience. And so I think it helps us relate to other people to sing. Um, we find that we actually have a lot in common as well. So I think music can be a unifying thing. I know some of my classes are quite diverse, and it's very sweet to have people come together and each person share their individual voice, but then also sing together and make one big sound together. It's kind of it's a special experience. Um, and then I have to tell you about Robert. So just probably over a year ago, Robert signed up for ukulele lessons and he showed up for his first lesson. He's probably in his 60s. He showed up for his first lesson and it became evident to me that he is more experienced than I am on ukulele. So I had to
Mhm.
tell him like, you might need to find a different teacher. And he said, actually, I'm not looking for a teacher, I'm looking for a partner. So he wanted to do concerts every month at a nursing home in Bothell. And so we started meeting and just learning a ton of music, trying to find songs that would be familiar to a wide variety of ages, learning Beatles music and whatnot. And we've been doing concerts at Bothell Healthcare every month since. And sometimes he and his wife will be traveling. And so when that happens, I bring students of mine to come and perform. So I've had a 9-year-old student come with me. I've had a middle school student who's an up and coming performer. She's great on stage. She's come and done her own like 6-song set as part of a show. I've had a couple adult students join me. So I think that impacts the people who are listening, hopefully brings them some joy and makes them feel a little more seen in the community, but I also think it affects the performers who might not interact with those those people at the nursing care. They're interacting with people in their community they might not otherwise, and I think that's good for us. So that's been a cool kind of connection in the community.
Mhm. Yeah, that's awesome.